PLD Projects presents Holy Snokes, a Star Wars podcast featuring PLD and Matty Gunner. May the Force be with you, always. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Holy Snokes, a Star Wars podcast here on the PLD Projects Network. I am your host, PLD. With me, as always, my co-pilot, Matty Gunner. How are you doing, my friend?
Co-pilot, hetero life day mate, confidant, consigliere.
I like that one. He's a good consigliere. And you would be a great
I'm not being Fredo. That's not happening.
I wouldn't make you be Fredo. Come on now. You'd love each other more than that, for Christ's sake.
I haven't watched the Godfather movies in a long time. This is something that I think I should redo.
It's been a while for me as well. I kind of like thinking at some point PJ and I are probably going to cover it on two middle-aged geeks on film, but like, I don't know. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just do it at some point. I've never actually, I'm going to throw out my cinephile status here and commit cinephile suicide, as it were. I haven't watched the Coda version of Godfather 3 or whatever with the whole rearranged stuff, which I've heard makes the film better. I don't know. I'll have to see, but I should at least watch the first two again because it's been quite a while. And what a set of films those are.
I never got the hate for number 3. I get it's to me it's like an 8 in a trilogy of 10s.
I think that's the problem. It's because you're comparing it next to like two of the greatest films of all time, and then all of a sudden it's like this is just a decent film kind of thing. I know like Sofia Coppola gets gets ripped out a bunch for her performance, and I mean it's definitely not anywhere near 1 and 2. But I always think it's overhated anyway. Then again, what am I to say? I'm a positive person. Me and PJ talk about all the time, talking about movies that like we're like, oh, we hate that. We're like, we think they're pretty good. They're not that bad. It's because I think we always have that. We always come from the mindset like it's hard to make a movie. It's a very hard thing to do, make a movie. And all movies start with at least like something that you can glom onto usually. And even if it's not like the greatest, you can still find stuff that you enjoy about it. You don't have to trash it, unless you're Nightmare on Elm Street from 2010. Then that's a piece of shit and you deserve to die. Anyway. There's always exceptions to rules. PJ and I have found there's a few of them in our horror watch series that we kind of go, yeah, even we can't save this one, but even then, actually, you know what? I'll take it back. I gave that a 1 out of 11. I still like that Jackie Earle Haley did a phenomenal job and did a great job doing his best. Just didn't have the story or the design or anything to help support him. So there's even then I can find something that's redeemable in a way. Oh god.
So when I say the words Alien Resurrection,
fun movie, just not a good alien
movie. Okay.
I know what you're trying to do. You could bring up the other one too if you wanted to, but
no, we brought that one up last week.
That's true. Like I said, exceptions to the rule. They do exist.
I tell you, I did have a Star Wars kind of day today. I started planning out Celebration.
Oh, good.
Started like having a look at what panels there are. Kind of thin on the ground, really.
I was a little surprised.
It's a lot of podcasters.
Yeah. We kind of mentioned it when we talked about it last week, but yeah, like there's no big, huge news panel. There's a news panel, but no like big, huge Lucasfilm live action panel like they usually do. There's no 20th anniversary Revenge of the Sith panel, which I thought for sure was going to happen.
They corrected the bullet point. Did you see this?
Oh, did they? I did not. I haven't been checking it out. Did they correct it? Is it no longer there?
The bullet point's gone. Yep.
Okay. So my conspiracy theory has been shot down.
Yep. It's shut down like a. I want to say a pig in shit, but you don't shoot that out of the sky.
I'll shoot a Gamorrean in their next one.
Maybe. But yeah, there's some really good ones. I will say the ones I'm probably looking forward to most are the Doug Chang, other than Scotty J. Rose midi-chlorians panel. That is going to be the highlight of the entire convention for me.
Mm-hmm.
The Doug Chang ones.
Those look fun.
I always love hearing Doug Chang speak.
very intelligent guy, very like sociable, like entertaining
It's the thing, like,
stories.
he doesn't seem like he's a very good like public speaker, if that makes sense.
Right.
But he has a voice about him and like a presence to him that is just like, tell me more.
He's been there. He's been through it he's been
He's seen some shit.
long standing. Yeah, he's seen some shit. Exactly the way to put it. Exactly. He's been through all of it and more. He's still standing. You know, he's one of the last standing at Lucasfilm, like from like the older days, really, I'm sure. Like as far as that goes. I mean, there's a few others, of course, but he's one of the ones who's been there for quite a while. Absolutely.
When we get closer to Celebration, we'll when we do our Celebration pre-show, we'll have a look at what panels are there, and we'll be like, if PLD
more announced,
what ones were you? Oh no, this is the full schedule. This is what is
the full schedule. You think so? Okay.
No, that's what they've said. This is the full schedule, and what is there is what is there. There is one that I am pissed that I'm not going on the Sunday for.
Oh yeah,
because it's a fan panel. It's Kurosawa in Star Wars.
Oh, that's kind of fun. That's kind of fun.
That's me coded.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's you code. That's you all over. Yeah. You know, the one that I would look forward to the most, the what is it, like 20th anniversary of animation, also doing a sneak peek of what's coming up. So I'm guessing that's where we're gonna get our announcement for the
That'll
next
be where the man in the hat
series. Not just Visions. It's not right. He's part. He's a big man. He's the man in charge of that. I guess that panel. Him and I think it was Athena, who's usually does the animated stuff. But the good news for me is that's not going to be an announcement of Visions season, because Visions has its own panel, so that's what they do its own thing there, which is good. I mean, I love Visions. I'm excited about Visions, but I wanted to see something else besides Visions coming out to the more canon associated and connected. You know me, my connectivity. That's my middle name. At least my Star Wars middle name, anyway.
I was going to say, where in PLD?
PLCD? PCLD? I don't know. No L connectivity? Okay. All right, fine. I will say also, it's kind of mentioned on Force Center. We love Force Center over here. Obviously, we bow at the altar of those gentlemen and what lady. They mentioned it, like, you know, it made me think about it. I kind of mentioned it a little bit last week. Celebration started off as exactly that. It was a celebration. It wasn't like a news drop place. It was just kind of like getting fans together, celebrating what had happened, getting to see all sorts of, you know, merchandise you can get to see, maybe have interviews and and have conversations with like people from behind the scenes, people there. And then, like, you know, over the years, like through Comic-Con and everything else, all of a sudden con news became the thing. Like at Hall H at Comic-Con, all of a sudden Marvel's dropping all their big news there. DC's dropping their big news there. All like the big movies and franchises dropping huge news at con. That became like the thing I was looking forward to, because that's where the big trailers are coming. That's where everything else. And Celebration even started doing that too for Star Wars. Obviously, you know, I was there for 2017. That's where the Last Jedi panel came. We had it a couple years ago. Obviously, when he had the fall start announcement of the 3 movies that were being worked on, and that was the big news.
Full start announcement.
I feel like now it's like, I almost wonder if this is a conscious decision by them to get away from con news, because it doesn't seem like they're the only ones doing that. I mean, yeah, as far as a couple of years ago, it feels like the Hall H isn't quite as big as it used to. Like you hear about like Marvel skip a panel this year, they're going to skip a con this year. DC, they're not going to every con, and every con is not news oriented anymore. I wonder if Star Wars said, you know what? Con news isn't for us. We'll announce things when we are ready to announce them. Let's not gear our things up. We want to announce them when we're ready to announce them, not to just arbitrary weekend in April where we have to announce everything. So let's get back to Celebration being Celebration, and we can concentrate on, like, you know, well, we know Mandalorian and Grogu is coming out a year later. That's locked in place. It's filmed. We're ready to go. We can have a conversation about that in the future. We know we have an animated project probably coming out in the fall, most likely. That's my guess still.
I'd say fall, yeah, maybe late
or
summer,
late, maybe December, maybe even might be like, you know, through the.
I would say late summer.
Or you think it's possible? Depends on when they decide what Visions is going to be. It could be Visions late summer, and then they decide to do the other. I mean, they might do it both at the same time. I don't know what their process is over there at this point. I struggle to guess. But either way, that's coming up. That's the animation project, whatever it is probably locked in, ready to go, or like close enough to being done that they can go, okay, this is happening. We have a release date in mind for this. We can talk about this instead of like anything else. I mean, hell, there's nothing about Sean Levy's movie. And like Kathleen Kennedy has come out saying that that's the next thing to film. And if Mandalorian and Grogu is done filming, and Sean Levy's film is the next to go behind the camera, then that's got to be starting to film soon. So it's almost like they have even dates on that. They're still not announcing it because they got to see what the plan is at this point.
So I'm kind of thinking this right now. Ahsoka season 2 starts filming April, right? April, May?
Right around that time, yeah.
In what world do you think exists that Ahsoka season 2 comes out before Mandalorian and Grogu?
Zero.
Really?
Zero. I because they're connected story-wise. My prediction on that, because they're connected story-wise, I think Mandalorian and Grogu, which was supposed to be Mandalorian season 4, I still think that's the case. I don't think it's ever been officially fully confirmed, but that's a scuttlebutt that makes most sense. That was always going to come out before Ahsoka season 2, and I think story-wise, this is going to take place before Ahsoka 2. And just because like filming is going to go through the summer. Filming, let's put it this way: it's going to take the summer to film. They're not going to be done filming probably until August or September. And then you got to get all the effects done and everything else to get it out before May 2026. That could happen. It's going to come out.
Is it?
Fall.
Is it? I thought it was coming December. The film.
Mandalorian and Grogu?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's May 2026. It's a year from Celebration. Yeah.
Huh.
It was at one point going to be December. No. What it was supposed to be. Mandalorian and Grogu was always May 2026. I think it was going to be a Star Wars movie December of 2026, and that has gotten pushed to the next year.
Okay.
That's what's supposed to be 2 next year, and then they kind of like said, "No, we're gonna push that back." Okay. Probably Levy's film will be that one. I'm gonna guess is gonna be that one. It's gonna come out in 2027, which makes sense too, because they're gonna film in September. They get through filming in a couple months, 3-4 months. It takes a year to do special effects. By the time they're done, therefore, then it's like December of 2026. By the time it's rolled up, then you have a couple months to do all other stuff to get ready by May. Yeah, so there's no way Ahsoka can get ready in that time, I think, because they finish Ahsoka filming in August, then or maybe August or September, depending how it is. Then it's going to take about a year, probably, or 6 to 7 months.
I was going under the assumption that Mandalorian and Grogu comes out in December.
Right. So that's So therefore, I would expect Ahsoka to be coming out in the fall of 2026, in between Mandalorian and Grogu and the December or the May 2027 film. Most likely Levy, unless Mangold gets his shit together, but I don't think so. I don't think Mangold has a chance to get that done by then at this point. So
no, I don't think he's got a chance of getting his shit together.
But so that's my thought process. We're not going to see anything. We have the Ahsoka season 1 panel. I mean, obviously Filoni is there. It's Celebration, so he's not going to be filming that weekend. So with that in mind, I wouldn't be shocked.
So they say. He may come in. What did they used to say in the WWE when someone was in there and they came up on the Titantron? Live via satellite.
Live via satellite. No, but he's at the panel. He's doing the animated panel. He's hosting the panel.
Okay.
So he's got to be there. So I think what's going to happen is I wouldn't be surprised if because we have the Ahsoka panel, which is being labeled and discussed as a discussion of Ahsoka season 1. That's what it's talking about. But interestingly enough, how long ago was Ahsoka season 1? Compared to we've had Skeleton Crew, Acolyte, none of those getting panel. So I think there's going to be some news at the end of that one about Ahsoka season 2. And we might get cast might be there. You can see them come out. I think for sure there's no reason why we're going to do that except for the fact that there's a season 2 coming out. I think that's the only reason they have a panel like that. My own thoughts, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. Well, that would be for our celebration. We're getting dangerously close into our celebration pre-show.
Yeah, we got to stop talking about this now.
Yeah,
we're giving
the episode away. Let's come on, you're the news hound. Get to tell it. For listeners who may not know, I personally stopped looking at Star Wars news because I know I'm going to hear it from Paul every week.
He likes to hear it from me and react. So he doesn't do that. None of the Matty Gunner stuff is not the deep dive. He's not the interest. He is the man on the street hearing it for the first time. Let's see what's going on.
If I was to have a Star Wars personality, it would be Andor scene. If I was a reporter, Andor scene.
Nice. However, I think you'd have to be an Anzellan, though. I'm sorry, you'd have to be an Anzellan.
I could do that. We'd have to get Molly Damon to ADR it because she does the best Anzellan impression. I can't do it.
That's pretty good. It is.
I
It is
can't get
pretty
my
good.
voice that high.
I can't either anymore. I used to be able to, but I'm down and gravelly at this point, for sure. But yeah, we are going to go into news. That's a good segue. I mean, obviously, you've seen the thumbnail, you've seen the title. We are here doing our rewatch of Andor season 1 as we prepare for Andor season 2. And one thing we kind of forgot in a way, I mean, not so I forgot, but we kind of like glossed over. Obviously, Andor season 2, we mentioned many times before, coming out 3 episodes a week. Every Tuesday is going to be a 3-episode arc, and they're going for a year, and they're going to skip the next, then it's 3-episode arc. They're all told in that fashion. So that's kind of how we decided to do Andor season 1 as a rewatch. But Andor season 1 isn't completely like that.
No.
We had the first 3 were 1, to the second 3, our Downing arc was 1, and then we had this like one-off episode in the middle, which is episode 7.
Yeah, it's kind of like a resetting of the board.
For the Narkina 3-episode arc, and then the 2-episode finale arc kind of thing. But we didn't do it that way. So technically speaking, we only watched 2/3 of the Narkina arc for this episode of the rewatch. And we saved that. That, but also means we have 2 of the greatest episodes of Andor in next week's episode. Which, spoiler, I've actually gone ahead and watched the last. Like, I'm only on one. I only one left.
So I watched the entire Narkina arc and the reset.
So you finished
episode? Yeah.
Okay, you finished. Yeah, I'm trying to, because I'm watching it with Kim. Kim wanted to rewatch it with me. It's not like I'm watching my own time now. I'm kind of, so with Kim, we have to schedule our watchings because we're so busy. People are like, okay, we can watch this, we get this. I can't do this then. Okay, we have to get this. I'm like, I have to get in by Thursday. So we kind of go, okay, Sunday at 2, we're watching this episode. Then we can go off. All right, we're watching. It's kind of like a lot of big moving pieces, but we got them in, and I'm watching the last one on Sunday. I'll be there, and I did watch the Andor finale, season 1 finale. And I can't wait because I'm all in at this point. And I haven't rewatched. Like I think I mentioned this last week. I don't rewatch nearly as much as I used to, so I haven't rewatched Andor since it was out. I've caught like bits and pieces of it here. I've like watched like I watch the speeches every once in a while. I'll see catch up on YouTube, but I haven't actually sat down and watched it. I'm like, God, this is hitting hard. This is hitting so hard. This is such a. And I imagine it's so good.
I've said this on the last couple of episodes. I haven't watched Andor season 1 since it aired. This is my first rewatch of it, and it's kind of not only have I got a whole new perspective of it, but this arc in particular, watching this now in terms of the real world events that have happened over the last week with what's his name, Khalid, and the Venezuelans that are currently being, illegally deported to El Salvador, essentially being sold into slavery over in El Salvador. It's
a lot of stuff going on. But the funny is, Tony Gilroy said, and I really think it's true. It's amazing. Like this isn't supposed to be pointed out any one thing. It's supposed to be a timeless show, and it kind of is in a way. It just happens to be we're just in a time that's reminiscent of time history that we have not learned from our past in general ways. But
I mean, it was just like watching this specific arc, this specific week. It was just kind of like, what does Tony Gilroy know that we don't?
He knows everything. It's funny talking about rewatches. I'm getting off not to completely get off your subject, but the subject of rewatches. I'm doing my canon through, as I've talked about many times. I'm going through the canon. I'm in High Republic still, but I'm kind of inching closer to closer. I am really looking forward to. I'm going to piss off a lot of people that watch this. I'm really looking forward to rewatch The Acolyte.
I am too.
Soon. I haven't watched it since it came out again.
I mean, neither.
So I'm definitely interested to watch it. Of course, I got to realize here I got to make my decision because I'm doing this chronologically speaking. Like for example, now I'm reading Escape from Valo, which actually came out after Eye of Darkness, but chronologically speaking, it takes place before, according to the Wikipedia timeline of canon, which is like what I go by. So I'm like, I got to do that. Of course, also the Young Jedi Adventures comes out, and I have to go back and watch those. I've already watched those. That's the thing. When I'm doing this canon, if something comes out, I've already passed it on the canon timeline. Then I go back. I just got to go plug it in and read it. But I'm getting to the Acolyte now. Technically speaking, am I supposed to watch Acolyte episodes 1 through 8, or am I supposed to watch like the 2 flashbacks episodes first?
Machete order.
That's what they take.
Machete order. Flashback first.
That's the thing. I'm wondering, like, part of me says I want to do it that way. Part of me says I don't know the show well enough to do that yet. Like Star Wars, the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, I knew that like the back of my freaking hand. So like doing different out of order, it's like it just totally adds a new perspective for me. I don't know if I have the perspective enough yet on the Acolyte to have a new perspective on. But then the other argument is maybe that's a good thing. It's kind of cool to see this. How would this have worked if we'd gotten this like chronologically speaking? So you're right. I actually might decide to watch it machete order wise.
Yeah, do it.
So I'll let you know.
When I think when the High Republic initiative is up, we should do a like a big retrospective of the entire
the book stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, we did do our top 5 High Republic characters, I think, at one point. But yeah, we should have to go back and
maybe like this. We're doing it arc by arc. We could do like
phase 1, phase 2.
Yeah, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3.
Will we include the Acolyte in that? Is it technically? I mean, it's part
of the
era.
I think we'll focus on the because we've already like people can go back and watch what we think of the Acolyte.
Right, that's true.
Right, I think we can do that. But
what I mean by that though is the Acolyte books that are coming out. Like those are technically part of the High Republic era.
We can include those.
But I don't know, but not part of the initiative. Which is it's kind of that fine time. Like this is the initiative, and then that's part of the era. I don't know, but we'll see. That's actually something. Again, don't want to give us all away, but I'll let you know. But I'm going to drop it real quick before we get there. I'm kind of hoping we get an announcement of like another initiative, like the High Republic, like maybe a different era, like also the Old Republic.
Stop giving it away.
I know. We'll talk.
It's like it's in like 2 weeks.
I can't help it.
2-3 weeks.
Can't help it. I'm excited. All right, let's get into it. Obviously, into our dinner show after the news, we'll get into our Andor rewatch. A lot of stuff to talk about there, of course. Yes. Got a lot of little bits of news. Not a lot of big news dropped. More like hit and run kind of stuff. Not much to comment on, but just kind of like brief hits. But first off, the first one I obviously get these all from Star Wars News Now. That's where I collate my news, and I suggest you collate your news. You can get it from anywhere you want, but I definitely trust their acumen.
I would say go to them before anyone else,
because I have found stuff that's not been on there that's kind of cool, but mostly you get everything that's real there, and they'll let you know if it's like real or rumor, or kind of parses out what do you believe in, what don't you believe in, and they let you know this is definitely rumor. So that's why I like to go to them. First one I had was the Light and Magic Season 2 is going to premiere on April 18th on Disney+. I actually haven't gotten all the way through Season 1 yet, because I've been having so many other things I've had to watch, but I have loved what I've seen, and I haven't had, but I really said we're going to get through Season 1, but I love the fact we're getting Season 2. Because this is a great documentary series so far. And this year, I guess
I really like those kind of like technical looking at the ins and outs, that's the kind of how the sausage was made that I like to see.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. Because you learn a lot of stuff you wouldn't learn before. The first season was directed by Lawrence Kasdan. This season directed by famed former Star Warsian director Joe Johnston. He's directing Season 2, so just shout out to PJ Campbell, who one of his favorite directors, The Rocketeer. He just goes into that all the time, and I love him too. I love him. Rocketeer.
One day we need to do The Rocketeer on Class Action.
Oh, I don't think we'd be able to keep PJ off at that point. But of course, PJ, then it would absolutely win, because
who's trying to keep him off? Every month, I'm like, we should get PJ on this one.
I'm making a 3-hour show with the 4 of us on there at that point. But this season is going to begin April 18th, and it's delving into the post-Jurassic Park timeline. It's going to delve into the development of the prequels, which is a very interesting time for ILM for sure, is when Lucasfilm started to really kind of, because obviously it's well known that after the original trilogy, and one of the reasons why Lucas took so long in between, not only did he want a life break, but he also kind of wanted to wait for the technology to kind of catch up to what he wanted to do for the prequels. So this is the development of said technology and everything else. So I'm excited. I'm excited about Season 2, and I can't wait for it to come out. So I have to finish Season 1 first, but I'll get there. I'm sure I'll get there. Speaking of stuff I got to get through, the next bit of the news, Young Jedi Adventures. The final episodes of Season 2 are now on Disney+. They dropped on the 19th yesterday. And I watched the first episode.
We started talking about this, but then in typical fashion, I said, PLD, shut the fuck up. We're about to record a podcast. Let's talk about this on the show.
Yeah, we did.
I think because because me and PLD before this show used to talk about Star Wars exclusively in our Facebook chats, that it's just like sometimes we forget we have a show where we can talk about it face to face.
We don't talk about it in our Facebook chat anymore. Barely ever. Unless someone like big news drops, like hey, or something like that. But otherwise,
and then I tell you, wait until Thursday.
True, you're not wrong. But we did talk a little bit about this before the show. Young Jedi Adventures animated show, Star Wars animated content continues to win. Obviously, this is going to be your miles may vary because this is a show obviously aimed more towards a younger age. And we say that sometimes, Clone Wars, Rebels, and, Star Wars animated content has been that way. But this is like really, obviously, almost like toddler age, not a little older than toddler age, but really young, like 7, 10, that kind of thing. However, so it is kind of like, as far as an adult storytelling wise goes, it's kind of a one and done. So, it's nice, it's nice, it's nice. But there are moments in there, I will say, there's a storyline involving a pirate Tabor, and those moments actually do hit, and they're really solid, good storytelling. And I like seeing that when even young kids show has good, solid storytelling and good, solid Star Wars storytelling, which is what I want to key in on. There's some really good Star Wars moments in the first episode of that just dropped. Really loved it. I really thought it was great, and can't wait to get into the rest of them and hopefully have some fun. Maybe some another more connectivity issues in there. Obviously, last season they went to Starlight Beacon from the High Republic, so this is where another High Republic show. But yeah, the rest of the season dropped, and it's ready to go. And I will get through them because of my canon read through or see through, whatever you want to call it. I have already passed that.
My canon see through.
I couldn't just call it a read through. I'm not reading them. I'm also watching. So yeah, see through.
Okay.
So I had to go back and watch these on the road because I've already passed this part of the timeline. This takes place before Phase 3. But it's fun. It's fun. It's cute, and I'm glad to see it's reaching the right people. It's winning awards. Still won another award the other day. I had it up. I deleted it. Actually, I think it copied and pasted over it accidentally. They won another award recently. They're doing good in anime. Anime content has done very well for Star Wars, and I'm excited it's continuing. I'm hoping that it is catching in the view of younger kids, getting the next generation of Star Wars fans involved. Have you watched any of Have you watched?
I watched the first season.
Okay.
Young Jedi, and I did enjoy it. It is very much as you said. It is what it is, but people need to remember that we were that age once.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like Old Bear Adventures, Teletubbies. Actually, Teletubbies is a bit after my time, but like we had those shows in our very, very formative years.
Mm-hmm.
Just because we are the ages that we are now, me being 33, Paul being
an ancient
at this point, I'm not even gonna. I don't think we can disclose the age on Paul's birth certificate because
my new pitch for two middle-aged geeks on film is PJ is actually a young man. I'm an ancient man, so we meet we meet in the middle for two middle-aged geeks on film.
Yeah, but yeah, I probably will watch it at some point. But yeah, I think with things like that, people need to understand the target demographic is not necessarily for us, but that doesn't mean we can't watch it and find something from it because again, we were that age once.
That's the key point. I don't think anybody's complaining. This is not something that people are complaining about. We've had obviously some, red-eyed people get upset about how young Star Wars is for some things. They prefer the adult, dark, gritty Star Wars that they're getting at Andor, or they really got an Underworld, and they're like, "Oh, Scouts of Fear isn't for me because it's for kids," and that they complain about that a little bit. But this, I don't actually just see any complaints about because I think it's understood, and I think even they understand this, so like they let it go. But the key point I want to throw out there for you is that what you just said. I want to highlight that is, yeah, you could still. Well, this is not something I'm gonna rewatch. I'm not gonna sit there and watch it all the time. I think it's worth a watch through, and you can pick up on some fun stuff and have some fun moments. It's fun, it's silly, it's cute. Again, it's a good background thing for me to watch while I'm doing some work.
It's the kind of thing like as we talked about off air, the young lady that I'm seeing has young children.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that I would sit down with them and watch this. If they would say to me, "Hey, we like Star Wars," I'd be like, "Okay, cool. I'm not gonna watch. We're not gonna watch the Siege of Mandalore together. We're not gonna watch, the Acolyte together. Like that's a bit, advanced in there. It says me, who was playing Grand Theft Auto London at like 9 years old, but I think it's a perfect entry point for young kids to get into Star Wars, and Star Wars is a generational thing. Like it carries down generation to generation. There's always it's like music, really. There is always an entry point. Like
yes,
no one's first band was Cannibal Corpse. Like
it was, and good on you, I guess. But
like, and I had this conversation over lunch with Ken Knapsack. Like my entry band was Linkin Park.
Right.
I had to get into Linkin Park before I could get into Metallica, before I could get into AFI, before I could get into Cannibal Corpse. So like,
that's a good. I'm trying to think what it was for me for Queen. I'll throw it out there just to interject, and you can continue. I think my first band was Twisted Sister, just because of the one music video. We're not going to take it. I want to rock. I love them, but those. Yeah, I was like, this is my.
Were they 2 videos? Was that 2 songs in one video?
No, it was the same album. It was like the same album. It's like they did like back-to-back videos and their same theme, and like they, I Want to Rock was almost like a sequel video. Same guy was in it, same dad figure was in it, whatever. Twisted Sister led to, I guess I would say maybe I had a brief bit with Bon Jovi because that was one of the first bands I saw in concert when I was really young. So I was so young that I mistook the opening act for Bon Jovi. I was like, oh, that's Bon Jovi, and they're done. No, that wasn't Bon Jovi. That was whoever it was. I'm like, oh, okay. And I watched Bon Jovi. And from there, I went to Extreme when More Than Words came out, and then I got led down that path to Get the Funk Out, which is like, I was like, oh my God, this is like, they can do an acoustic Everly Brothers sound, and they can do like a funk, almost Red Hot Chili Peppers funk metal kind of sound too. That's freaking awesome. I knew never been corporate guitars. And Extreme is who led me to Queen, because Extreme did the Freddie Mercury tribute concert.
See, I'm shocked that it didn't go, because obviously because of reasons that everyone in the show is very well aware. I'm not going to name drop anymore. Queen were one of the very first bands I ever heard in my life. So I'm shocked that you went that route. You went that route and you didn't go Queen. See, to me, the pipeline would go Queen to Extreme.
That's because you're in the UK. You gotta remember, in America in the 80s, Queen couldn't get arrested. They stopped touring in 82. They had the blip in 85, but they were not big band at all until really Bohemian Rhapsody brought them back in 1992 with Wayne's World. That's when all of a sudden they became a big band again. And Freddie Mercury's passing as well. I kind of like knew they were in the background. Like it's funny, they had been in my life for a long time. Like I used to love Flash Gordon. My parents had a jukebox in the basement. Like my father owned a couple of bars, and he brought a jukebox home in our basement. Yeah, we had a bar in the basement. He put a jukebox down there, and another one, Bites of Dust, was on that. So I knew that one. Obviously everyone in America knew We'll Rock You Were the Champions. It was played at every sporting event, so I kind of knew. Yeah. I knew who the band was, but it was always kind of like separate. Like I didn't really connect them all at all. But then they kind of got like they went through the thing with like the record company really screwed them over, and Freddie Mercury's public guy really screwed them over. There's a whole Queen documentary about it, and they really couldn't get arrested. They didn't tour. Their albums did pretty much nothing in the 80s. Live Aid was a blip on them, but I think they were bigger, almost bigger everywhere else. That's where they were really huge, like stadium rockers everywhere else. But I really didn't until Freddie passed, like 91, and then Wayne's World and the Freddie Mercury tribute concert in 92, everybody started bringing them back. That's when like they became big. That's when they actually really got into my circle. I was like, oh, I know who these guys. I know Flash Gordon. I know Bill Rocky. I know we're the champions. And then Extreme was talking about their graces so much, and like so is that's kind of how it went for me in a way. It is a little strange, but I get it. I get it. But it's definitely an America thing for sure. If I was in the UK, I probably would have loved Queen right from the get go, and I would have like been all the way through. Queen would have been the first and final band for me in a way, instead of being just the final one for me. I said I'm an old band, the final band for me, but they are the final band for me. I'm never going to like anybody like I like Queen. I can't get that passionate about a band anymore. Like I went headlong into Queen like for so many years.
Pun intended.
Exactly. Pun intended. I like that. You picked up on that. Good for you.
Hey, I used to think that song was called Russian Hedgehog, and it was about Sonic the Hedgehog because they had a song about Flash Gordon. So I just assumed that Headlong was about Sonic.
Why not? I mean, they did do a song. Brian did a song on saving the Badgers later on. So it makes a lot of sense to do the animal songs there, animal rights and stuff. But no, I totally understand why you would be confused being the UK guy. But yeah, they're my final band because
I mean, Queen are my Beatles, really. I was never a huge Beatles guy. Queen are the Beatles in my eyes.
Right. That's kind of what they are for a lot of the world. I still don't think America understands quite how big they are around globally, like outside of America. They're like,
I would have thought, and we're getting dangerously close to an episode of Crown Jewels here. But
we are.
I would have thought that Adam Lambert joining Queen would have like made them like bigger over there.
It didn't not. Like, I think Queen and Paul Rodgers era was kind of overlooked a little bit. Adam Lambert brought him back in the spotlight, at least touring wise. They don't do any new material with them. That's part of the issue. I think they just don't. They decided a long time ago. They kind of went with Adam to do they wrote in in a studio, and it said never quite sounded right. So they kind of gave up on it, and they've been touring kind of greatest hits for a while. So I think it's kind of like their live show has been big. They got to do like Madison Square Garden, or like the arenas again finally here, but like they just don't get talked about much because they don't have any new music. Although Brian did say something about having a new Queen song in front of him that he's been maybe working on that might see the light of day between him and Roger. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. But we'll see. This is not Crown Jewels though. We should move on.
Yeah, we should move
I
on.
don't even know how we got onto there. I have no idea where that.
Me neither. It was my music comparison being like, everyone has an entry point.
Right. Okay.
Everyone has a gateway.
Everyone's a gateway. Bring that back. Young Jedi Adventures could be.
Young Jedi Adventures is some people's gateway band.
Good. All right. I like it. All right. Speaking of gateways, some people have come through Star Wars through Visions. The series that's been entering its third season this year. We talked about a little bit the anime Star Wars anthology show. I was doing the first season was all Japan animation. Anime second season they went around the world of different animation studios, putting their own stamp on basically non-canon Star Wars, taking their own little like inspirations and making their own little thing. And back to season 3, they're going to Japan again. And part of me thinks it can't help that it's like about being Celebration Japan and trying to get the Japanese culture into Star Wars.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it.
There's definitely some of that, especially because the studio. One thing that I noticed because I tried booking ticket for the Studio Ghibli Museum, the prices are a lot higher than usual.
Really? That makes sense. That makes sense. So we do have a little bit of news about Visions. Did that come out?
Hit me. Hideo Kojima is doing the entire season.
I know that's in your dreams, but
no, I want him doing live action. I don't want him doing animated.
That's true.
Before
the season drops, I assume before the season drops, we got our first look at the upcoming third volume because one of the episodes has been submitted to the Annecy Festival, which is a French film festival, and it's going to be debuting there I believe it's in June, which means to me that Visions isn't coming out until after June because they wouldn't put this in a festival while it was airing Disney Plus. It's kind of one of those
I'm going to say first. September, October time, probably.
Most likely. It could be August. But yeah, I think that's probably about right. We did get our first look at something. We have an image from it, and the episode was titled Black. I don't see what studio did this, honestly, in the article. But the official synopsis from the French press release, it was written in French, so the translation could be a little off. I'm not certain. Close enough.
That's what?
I will not. I'm sorry, Betty. I'll leave that to your girl. A psychedelic battle between past and present, light and dark, life and death, rages in the tormented psyche of an Imperial soldier near defeat. It is a stormtrooper protagonist, and this is our first look. If I can find the visual.
Yep, that definitely looks like some psychedelic shit.
Yeah, pretty psychic. I'm all in for that. This is what Visions does best. It's a place where animated content can do very stylized content. I mean, because obviously we've had Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch, and Clone Wars have had similar animated styles, but it's goes definitely more towards the realism side. Rebels, slightly more cartoonish, but still grounded in a sense of realism in a way. Visions is where we can kind of go nuts and get like all sorts of crazy stuff going on. It's one of the reasons I love like some of the episodes last season were mean, both seasons were phenomenally differently designed, stuff we haven't seen before, and it made for some very entertaining stories or entertaining pieces of art. I should say, it's really art. That's what this is. I love the idea. I love that. I mean, it's not much to talk about besides it's Stormtrooper protagonist and it looks psychedelic, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited for Vision.
We think that this Stormtrooper tech is, if he's suffering defeat, I'm gonna guess it's on Endor. Do you reckon he's taken like some shrooms?
Maybe that could be absolutely be it.
Some psychedelics in him,
and see it happen. I love it. I think that'd be great. Maybe some kind of nerve agent or something. Could be. But anyway, that's really it for that. It's kind of a cool thing to see. I'm glad we're gonna get that first. We probably won't see it first, but to hear about it a little bit. A little teaser, as it were, for Vision season 3. I'm excited. I'm excited about Visions. I hope Visions continues. I don't think they've announced that this is the last season or anything, so I kind of hope it just keeps going.
I hope not.
I think you just keep going indefinitely as long as it's getting enough views and animated people want to do it. And
there's always like
independent animators to do it.
Animated studios that would love to jump at the chance to do some stuff. I would love as well if they ever did like a 4th one that's just Japan. I would love to see a full Studio Ghibli season, or a Studio Ghibli Star Wars animated film.
Yeah. Well, I always thought that's what really they should be doing. I still think that they should be doing that in a way. We have they just announced from Marvel, John Berthal doing a Punisher one-off.
God, especially after spoiler alert.
Yeah, good stuff. Absolutely. But that's the kind of thing I feel like Star Wars could take advantage of. I've mentioned this before. I've kind of sounded like a broken record. I think Star Wars could totally take advantage of that. They could have the idea of let's take a character, like a one-off character, give them we don't need a Disney Plus TV show. We don't need like an 8-episode, whatever, $200 million show. Just give me a 90-minute special. It's a one story, focus on one core character, like $30 million, $40 million, and get it done and see what happens. That could actually be really cool. And a way to give you content that matters in a way.
The budget that they're spending on Mandalorian and Grogu, which I'm sure is probably one of the news topics you've got here.
If you don't look at the news.
I mean, I listen to other shows, and it seems to be all everyone gives a shit about is how much people spend on these movies. With a valid point, we have raised criticisms in the past, but spend a little bit less and do like a Disney Plus.
I'd love to see that. Absolutely, and see Studio Ghibli thing would be absolutely that idea, especially for animated
Disney Channel, right? Like you would have like the Recess movie on Disney Channel.
Yeah, do it like that. Absolutely.
Do it like that.
This way, I mean, we're still discovering what streaming is and what that means and everything else. Obviously, we talked last week about Andor's new push and how they're doing it. They're putting it on Hulu for a season. The entire season's on Hulu now. 3 videos are on YouTube. They're trying different ways to do things and way to push things. Maybe a network TV thing is the way to go. And I think I've heard that. Ken actually said that on Force Center. Ken Upside said something. There's rumblings out there that Andor might see a network TV slot at some point.
I've been saying needs to happen.
It should. I think you put on Disney Plus first, and then you can put it on network TV later on to catch everybody else and see what happens. Of course, then there's the argument though at that point. It's like, well, it's on Disney Plus first. Is that going to hurt it on a network TV slot? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, so that overestimating Disney Plus to worry about that, or is it underestimating Disney Plus and going all of a sudden your main fan base, your Star Wars fanatics, will have already seen it. So who's going to watch it? Because this is where it's kind of a different conversation, but like this is kind of it's amazingly how it almost hurts me to say, but it is true how a Star Wars branding can actually hurt a show. We talked about the other way Star Wars branding helped the show. Like they called this Star Wars Andor. They call it Star Wars Ahsoka. They always put that Star Wars in there. So like, oh, this isn't just this is a Star Wars show. Come on, guys, a Star Wars show. So all Star Wars fans watch it. But there's a lot of people out there. Like Tony Gilroy mentioned, they love Tony Gilroy stuff, Michael Collins and stuff. Michael Collins. When I say Michael Collins, not Michael Collins. Michael Clayton. That's what. That's a totally different movie.
Who are you talking about, Willis?
I'm talking about Willis. But he like has fans who are like I love your stuff. I love your stuff. And he's like, well, did you watch Andor? And like, no, it's kind of a Star Wars thing. I don't know. There are people out there who won't watch it because there's monsters, there's sci-fi, there's space wizards and stuff. So that's where the Star Wars brand actually kind of hurts it in a way. So it's to see how you move forward with that. Okay. Next up, we got let's see, Andor season 2 time slot confirmed April 2nd, 22nd, 6 p.m. PT. Okay, that's what we thought. What's that? What is that time? Is that for you?
6 p.m. for me. Well, the times change back this weekend, I think. So that would be 1 o'clock in the morning, I think.
Ooh, that's
6,
rough.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11 p.m.
That is rough. Oh, 11 p.m. is not. Well,
Wait.
no, it can't be because it's 9 p.m. for me.
9 p.m. Okay, so 5 hours, 9 p.m. from you. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2.
2 in the morning.
2 in the morning.
3
Absolutely
episodes.
not. Absolutely not. I am watching when I wake up.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. It's perfect time for me. I'm not gonna lie. 9 p.m. is great for me. I'm gonna take some time off work and make sure I don't have to go in that night, and I'll watch it so I can make sure I get all 3 episodes in the first night. Interesting push. It's an interesting push. I actually have.
We are the time zone. We created time zones. You wouldn't have time zones if it wasn't for GMT.
Mm-hmm. You're right. Yeah. Well, you can cling on to that, and we have the Hollywood time zone.
This is Star Trek.
The Hollywood time zone. That's the most important one, basically, and at this point for this kind of content, unfortunately for you. I will say, I have started to come around on this way they're pushing it, or they're putting it out. Because I remember at first when we dropped it, I was definitely hesitant because I wanted to last 12 weeks. So I wanted to be a episode, drop an episode, move on, drop an episode, move on, have a chance to sit with it. And while I still have some misgivings about the fact like you have to watch all 3 or else you can't go on social media, it should be spoiled. But
I love that.
I do like the idea. I know you do. I kind of like the idea more and more, like, because what we mentioned before is that they have not been making TV shows. They've basically been making certain hours of content and just slicing it up. So that's the case.
It's movies. They've been making a movie we're pretty much getting a movie a week, every week for a month.
And if that's the case, especially in the case of this season, how they're set up in the 3 episode arcs, dropping a movie a week is kind of a cool thing.
We are essentially getting what you wanted, a Disney Plus movie a week.
What is streaming TV show? What is that? And you kind of brought it up last week, and I pushed back on it a little bit. But after sitting on it and thinking on it and really going into it, I've kind of come around on it a little bit. And yeah, you're not wrong, because I am
not just
exactly
a pretty face.
You are more than a pretty face, but you are a very pretty face.
I am a very pretty face.
But I understand what I understand the idea behind it, and it is exactly what I was saying. Pitching it that way. Maybe that's what TV should become. Maybe we shouldn't have TV shows anymore. It should just be blocks. So maybe that's the way you do Obi-Wan. No 6 to 8 episodes. Just do a 90-minute movie or do a series of 90-minute movies. I think what I would like to have gotten like maybe spread it out, like in terms of get a Tuesday and then like a bi-weekly release, maybe where you get 3 episodes a week off, 3 episodes a week off, 3 week episodes. That might help my spreading it out a little bit to enjoy it and letting me sit with the movie instead of going right to the next movie. Because I mean, you got to remember back in the day, Star Wars movies were like 3 years in between movies, so you got to sit. That's how I started loving them. You started getting into them. That's what I want.
How long has it been now?
Now it's a 7-year break. Yeah, this is movies. But giving me a week in between gives me a little chance to sit with that movie and go, okay, now let's go over the next one. But I'm more on board than I was before, so I'll give you that. All right, little last 2 bits of news we got here. This is a fun one. I wish I was in Hollywood for this. CCM Classic Film Festival on April 24th is going to open with a screening of The Empire Strikes Back with George Lucas in attendance. The maker himself,
leaving the house.
The maker himself is presenting The Empire Strikes Back at this festival.
Wait. George is leaving the house?
He is leaving the house.
I thought we all agreed that this was a terrible idea.
I'm saying good on him for doing it. He's getting out of the museum. He's getting out of the house.
No.
And he's going to be showcasing Empire Strikes Back. And that's awesome. I would love to be in that in that audience for that.
I would too, but can we not have him like dial in via satellite? Like, he's not John Williams. John Williams is gonna live forever.
Don't worry about George. He's okay. I think he's okay.
He's not Harrison.
He's Yoda. He's Yoda. He can live forever.
Harrison, who's crashed planes in his old age and lived to tell the tale.
He's still going. He's still going.
Oh God, I wish he would stop flying those fucking planes.
I know, seriously. My God, Harrison, please, for our sake, just knock it off.
Oh, for our sake.
Yeah. Our sake, not your sake, not your wife's sake, not your. I don't care about that. Our sake. You're right. Okay, so that was a little quick news bit. I love that idea, and I wish I could be there for that. To be honest with you, but it is what it is. Good luck on whoever wants to go or gets to go there, because it's going to be something important. I still cherish the memory of.
What's the festival called? I'm going to look it up.
The TCM Classic Film Festival.
TCM Classic Film Festival. All right, I'm going to see if I can find tickets. Go on with the next story. I'm going to see if I can.
I will say, last bit of news I'll drop on that is like I hope you do it and have a good time. I still cherish the memory of a celebration from 2017 where the 40th anniversary of Star Wars panel with George was there, and it was still just a fun, really memorable experience and everything else for a lot of reasons. But all right, last bit of news is the aforementioned news that Matty got a teased earlier with this little drop. Yes, the Mandalorian and Grogu's budget has been leaked, or I don't know, leaked is the right word. It's not like it's been announced, but it was like on a website we're talking about California does tax credits for films, and it talks about the budget of the films that were filmed, and it was revealed that the Mandalorian and Grogu had a tax credit of $20 million, but it was revealed the Jon Favreau directed film shot for 92 days between late June and late November last year, and had a budget of $166.438 million, making it the lowest budgeted film in Star Wars since Disney took over. The lowest previously was Rogue One at $200 million. And it is actually the lowest, and so the lowest, and it's kind of comparable, and technically adjusting for inflation, it's even lower than like the prequels. And like, I think if I read correctly, the prequels, because they're notoriously, I think 100 million, 120 million, something like that, or maybe even less. I don't remember what they were, but I remember reading the article. Adjusted for inflation, they were like about 200 million or so. So this is going to be one of the lowest budgeted films in Star Wars history, and I don't know how I feel about it. I have two trains of thought in my mind, and
go ahead.
I have it shooting for let's get lower budgets. The budgets in all movies have been insane recently. They're making like $500 million budgets that are not making it back. They're wondering why they're not making their money back, and that's causing consternation among studios. Which I don't really care about their consternation, but I do care about how that affects getting more projects going forward. That's what I care about. So I've always said we should do lower budget stuff. I've been talking about lower budget stuff for Disney and everything else. So $166 million movie is absolutely 100% going to make its money back and more. Like as new Star Wars film in theater, live action Star Wars film, the first one since 2019, is absolutely going to make its money back if the budget's $166 million. No doubt.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. And that's a good thing for Lucasfilm, a good thing for Disney. And it does mean we can get more stuff going forward. The flip side, we haven't gotten any leaks from this at all, right? Nothing leaks. And you know what that means? Good, but not good. And here's why.
What?
Here's why it's not good. It's not good because that means they didn't shoot on location. Which means we are getting a shit ton of volume.
Okay. What's wrong with that?
The volume is good for what it does, but on a big screen, I don't know if it can handle without looking cheap.
Okay.
So the fact that I don't like the leaks itself, but having leaks means that it's shot on location. Shot on location means we're getting. I love the production when they shoot on location, like Andor shoots on location, and you see it. Andor didn't use it, you see it. When Obi-Wan used the volume the entire time, that's one of the criticisms of the Obi-Wan show, and I understand that. Was it did look a little cheap, a little chintzy. And that was on Disney Plus. Now we're talking about a big screen adventure.
Counterpoint. They have until May. It's been in the can for a while, right? They've shot it.
November of last year.
November of last year. Okay, they've had from November of last year to May next year to work solely on the visuals.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's more than enough time for them to make it look.
10 years might not be enough time. It comes to be that basis of location shot. If it's not the location shot, it tends to sometimes look cheap and chintzy. And even Mandalorian has at times looked cheap and chintzy, which you can get away with much more on the smaller screen.
I mean, the stuff that was on Skeleton Crew that was shot on the volume looked pretty good.
On the small screen.
The Batman looked fucking awesome, and a lot of that was shot on the volume.
It could be good. I'm not saying it's a bad thing definitively. I'm just saying that
just giving the other side of the argument.
Makes me a little concerned.
Don't worry.
Possibly concerned.
Don't worry.
You'll
be fine. Don't you worry. Get to watch the movie first.
Absolutely. And I'm someone who's going to go in that way. You know me about that. But I always think about things like it goes through my mind when it's like that kind of low budget. I want this to be really successful. I really want this to hit a home run, to really kind of kick us in the ass.
Like, you don't want it to be Mickey 17.
Right. I don't want. I
watched Dan Mo's video. Yeah.
I enjoyed Mickey 17. But it is.
That was a. Yeah, it's a great movie. I wish that movie made a lot more money than it did, but yeah, they fucked up with that one. That was and I feel bad for Bong Joon-ho because he's one of the greatest living directors. But,
absolutely,
and absolutely crushed it. But that was a fuck up.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, again, I just said before, it's going to make its money back, obviously, because of a lot of other factors. But it's what happens after that. And if this looks chintzy and it looks like a TV show brought to a movie, does that lessen the experience for some? Are people not going to come back? I don't know. I know I'm worried. I know I'm worried about way too much things now. I get it. But at the same time, it is something that floats through my head. Like, I wish we had a little more location shots, but saying I might like the budget being low for that reason. So I got both hands here. I got both hands going through it. We're going to find out more, obviously, in a month or so. So hopefully the trailer will knock it out of the park, and I'll be less worried about it. Mandalorian Season 3 trailer kicked the shit out of me. I love that trailer. And some people, your miles may vary about the quality of Season 3. Some people said that Season 3 is chintzy looking at times. Okay, that's fine. I think this one needs to be a big one. I think this needs a big hit. So, but I do wonder, like, what does that mean going forward? Is that like the new budget going forward? Or is that because this was a Moana 2 situation? Or this is the Moana 2 situation where Bob Iger said, hey, what are you working on? Season 4 of The Mandalorian? Can we make that into a movie? Yeah, I guess I could do that. Like, all right, so cut off, like, make it 2.5 hours. Well, I'll just cut your budget down to whatever that would be, 2 hour wise. And all right, yeah, we'll do it. We'll get in the theater. And John's like, yeah, sure, I'm sure I could use the volume and do that. Yeah, I could do that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. That kind of Moana 2, let's force into theaters when it's not necessarily a theatrical release. So that can be a little hesitation too. But what is it going forward? Like, does that mean that James Mangold's, Sean Levy's movies are going to be that low? Because
not a chance.
So, not a chance in hell, right?
No.
Exactly. So,
especially Mangold's with what he's got to pull off. Absolutely not.
Right. A lot of interesting things about this film. I got to be honest with you, because I got to say, will people show up? And won't people show up? There's a lot of positives while they absolutely will. There's some that make me question. This is not episode 10. This is not an episode in the episodic series. People showed up for Rogue One, mostly. People did not show up for Solo. Yes, there's extenuating circumstances. I get it. But is the Mandalorian and Grogu, again, it's like outside of the Star Wars circle, is Mandalorian and Grogu enough to get people become the more casuals to come to the theater for a Star Wars movie? I think you could argue both ways. I think you could argue both ways. Grogu's out there, but is it to the point where people are going to be like, yeah, I watched the first 3 seasons of Mandalorian. I'll just wait for it to come streaming. I'll watch it when it comes on streaming. Because that's why I watched Mandalorian Grogu the first time. Where do they go? Like, is this an event enough to be an event film? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I hope so. I think so. I think the very fact that it's for Star Wars in 7 years, I think that helps a lot. Obviously, that does a lot of heavy lifting for you. But almost like it feels like the Rey movie should have been the first one because that's like episode 10. That gets us back in the theaters that way. That's the big splash. I don't really know. I don't have the answers. I'm just throwing questions out there for you to ponder. And I have my opinions. But what are your thoughts?
No, I think the Mandalorian and Grogu, the Mandalorian in itself is big enough to pull in people. I think. I think, especially with the amount of money they're going to make on Grogu alone.
Right. Yeah. I hope so. I hope that's the case. How it's going to be. I hope that's the way we're moving forward. So, all right. Last real brief bit is the new logo for the movie has dropped. Doesn't look much different from the one I saw previously, but it's a nice one. I like it. I'm here for it. I'm excited for it. So there it is, right there. The I do love Din and Grogu in the O right there, and yeah, it's gonna be good. So, all right, let's move on to our main topic, Andor, season 1, episode 7 through 9. We had the one-off episode announcement and then the first 2 parts of the Narkina arc. And if you don't know our show, we go through these things via category, and then we kind of wrap things up at the end. It kind of makes us hit our bits and pieces throughout. Usually we do these like episode by episode, so it's usually one answer to a category because that's usually all there is. We allow a little leeway now with these because we are doing 3 episodes. We're just going to cover them all at once, so that's why we might have a little more than one answer. We will rate the episode at the end, all 3 episodes individually. But yeah, let's break right into it. And these 3 episodes, which we're going to treat as an arc or whatever.
Get my notes here.
The first one we got, it's not Hondowatch, guys. In case you missed last week. We are suspending Hondowatch for Andor, and we are going on. And her Hondowatch will come back. And just so you know, we're not abandoning it. It will be back. But we know Hondo's not in Andor.
Who's still on the logo, right? It's Hondo. We haven't replaced the Hondo with Mars on the logo yet.
But we will say that for Andor, and probably for Andor season 2. For Andor season 2, we'll also be going into Moskwatch. There's Linus Mosk, who we loved so much in his first arc last time. We just want to see more. We can't get enough of his character, and we want to see more of him. Unfortunately, Moskwatch 2022, these three episodes, the answer is no. He did not appear in these 3 episodes. No. Unfortunately.
Nope.
Damn it, Tony. You failed me, Tony.
Tony had one job. You have one job.
To give me Linus Mosk.
We really are champions for Mosk.
We are. We might be the only ones. I think we're the only champions.
So.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody else talk about him. But I love that guy. I think that guy's a great actor, great fun performer. I light up when he's on the screen. He's just fun. He says he's not in season 2. I'm hoping he's lying. I'm hoping he signed an NDA and he makes
all of it.
Bullshit. But yeah. All right, let's move on to our next category. Character of the week. This is where it's straightforward. Who is our favorite character of the week? And for these 3 episodes, we can name 1 or 2. I'll let you go first to highlight your first choice.
My first one is actually Mother.
Marva. Okay, cool. Talk to me, babe.
The way that Cassian returns home to Ferrix, and everyone else is kind of blaming Cassian for the Imperial occupation because of everything that he did. Like his assault and everything that happened is the reason that the Empire is now on Ferrix. But then he goes to his mum, he goes to Marva, and she basically says, you've inspired this rebellion. Like, this is what your dad fought for. Remember when you confront, because he confronted those clone troopers for hanging his dad on Rick's Road.
Yeah.
And it's his mom saying, like, your dad would be proud of you. Like, this is everything he fought and died for, what you did.
Yeah. She is a wonderful actor, Fiona Shaw. I first came to her through Harry Potter as Harry Potter's wicked stepmother there, her aunt in the beginning.
Oh shit, that's right, she was.
Mm-hmm. So that's how I came to Fiona.
Wow.
Maybe hate her so much. So she did her job very well, and she makes me love her in these episodes as well. This show entirely. There's something about her. She reminds me of like an elderly like relative I have. She's stuck in her ways. She loves Cassian so much, but she also is sick of the shit, and she's seen some shit, and she's not going to let it go. And she's like, I'm too old to let it go now. I can't live with myself. And I love the fact that she doesn't judge Cassian at all. She says the great line of dialogue is like, you know what? Like, that's not where you are now. I don't need you to stay. I don't need you to fight. I'm not going to judge you for taking the money and running. You have to do what's good for you. I just can't run and live like that anymore. I can't do it. And I'm always going to support you. This is my life. This is what I need to do.
God, I really want to give away one of my quotes right now, but I'm going to save it because it's one that she says and it really...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if it's the same quote I wrote down. I wrote a bunch of quotes down, but I'm wondering if it's the same one. We'll get there, though. We'll save it. Let's not jump ahead. I will highlight... let's see. I'm going to highlight... My first highlighted person to do is... It's another obvious one. It's Kino Loy. Granted, we haven't quite gotten the big moment from Kino yet. But there's something I remember.
That's why I haven't said it.
I'm going to throw it out there anyway.
I wanted to.
I get it. If anyone suffers from our breaking up the Narkina arc, it's Kino Loy.
It's Kino Loy.
Because if that was an Narkina arc, I think hands down he'd probably be our number one for both things in a way. But he still is a phenomenal choice. To Andy Serkis, of course. I remember when he was cast, and we're like, "Is Kino Snoke? What is this, a Snoke thing? Is this the beginning of the Snoke character?" I don't know what's going on here. It was weird, but it was kind of like, I mean, obviously you couldn't help but think it's like, okay, we're different cast. Okay, cool.
People forget how, I think it's because he's such a great voice actor and a great motion capture actor.
Yeah.
People forget how just damn good of an actor Andy Serkis is.
Because he hasn't had the chance. He got pigeonholed into that motion capture thing, but the reason why he's so good at motion capture, if you watch those videos of him becoming Gollum or him becoming like Caesar, like,
I mean, the bomb was because he saw his cat choking on a furball and he was like, that's a cool idea. Let me try it.
His physicality is bar none, like phenomenal. And that is acting. That is a real acting choice. Yeah, you don't see him on screen, but you do see him on screen. He is entirely on screen for Gollum. But yeah, because of that, he never really got the opportunity, or doesn't get as many opportunities to just perform as himself in a way. And it's a case where he does. He is one of the greatest characters in this show because he highlights that I'm a badass at times. This show in general, I will say, I don't know if I put this in my notes for this or
I hated him in this arc. In this arc that we're talking now, the character of Kino Loy, I couldn't stand. It wasn't until the part that we'll get to later on that I was like, okay.
Even then, I understood because he is a badass character who is petrified. He is petrified of life. He becomes like a dick. He's an asshole in the beginning part, and he's like kind of running the floor for the Empire because that's something he can control. He doesn't have control of his life. His life has been so this is something he can grasp onto and take control. That's what leads him to be like proud of not proud of his existence, but he's making the best of what he has. If he's going to do this, he's going to be in here for, in his mind, 250 more shifts. He's going to kick ass and take control of those shifts. And, but you can see it. He's so layered with his performance. You can see underneath that gruff exterior that there's something going on underneath. Now, yes, we get to it a little more later on, but it's there on the rewatch, knowing what's going to happen. I see it more on this rewatch, and he gets more there, and that's why he's still like just a phenomenal acting choice for sure. Great character.
Yeah, And like we said, he's the fact that I had that reaction of like this guy is like a shill for the guards and the Imperials, and then he has this quick turnaround, shows that redemption in Star Wars is a key thing. It's a very key thing.
Yes, absolutely. Do you have anything else you wanted to add? Any other character you wanted to highlight?
I can't add Melshi yet. I really wanted to say Melshi. No, I think Kino and Marva for this arc were definitely the two.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I'll throw out there a couple different ones. Hopefully, I'm making sure I got the right. This is the problem with me jumping ahead. But I have some things in my mind. I wrote notes down, everything else. I believe it's this. I want to throw Mon Mothma in there. Genevieve O'Reilly.
My God, how the fuck did I miss that?
Genevieve O'Reilly is wonderful. A wonderful actor, and I'm seeing even more this time through. Because she chooses to be subtle about it a lot of times. It's not like a flashy performance by any sense of it. It's not like the performances of Kino that we're going to get, and not even Luthen. It's something that it's hard to even describe, but she has these moments of like what I'm talking about before. She is petrified. She's doing her best to like work against Empire, but she's doing it in a way that Luthen can't even understand. Like she is in public dealing with this. It's kind of a scary moment for her. She has a lot riding on this.
Yeah.
More than almost anybody else. I would say like more. I gotta say more than anybody else because she's doing it really in public. But what's awesome about this? There's this underrated scene in Announcement, which is that.
Are you going to talk about the three of them in the room?
Which one? Which one?
You've got just Richard Delane, Ben Miles, and Genevieve O'Reilly sitting on a couch, and it's kind of like my politics might not be for everyone.
Too strong for your taste.
Too strong for your taste. And I just, oh man, imagine being the director with that level of talent and just, oh my God, that scene was so fucking good.
Yes, absolutely. And not only that, like my favorite line, I'll save it for a line. There's a line of dialogue that really hit me in a way. I'm like, oh, this is good stuff. Not only that, but even before we get there, just her and Tay
at the party, right?
Right at the party. Even that is just like, oh, I see where we're going here.
Smile.
Oh, that's the quote. That's the quote. Sorry. That's okay. That's okay. That was what my favorite line. Sorry, I'll get out there now. When she does it, smile. It's phenomenal. And the conversation she has with the other senators, where you can tell she's like pushing because she cares, but she knows she can only go so far. And when they make a joke out of it, and you want to like smack them in the face, but she has to kind of get like and laugh it off and like kind of like pull herself back. It's like this really tug of war going on. And wow, it's so cool, so cool. So Mon is my other one of the favorite of the week for sure. I'll also highlight again, Party Guys.
Yeah. I jumped the gun last week as well. Wolf Yularen is in this episode.
That's what it is. Yeah. I thought so too. I was kind of like, well, maybe he was in the background. I couldn't remember that. I was like, oh, that's where he is. Oh,
no. And you spent most of the episode saying you didn't want to jump the gun, and I'm the one that jumped the gun.
That's fine. It's all good. It's all good. But Party Guys and Vel also still is really cool. This is the arc where we discover who she is, and it's a great reveal. It's a great reveal. Like, oh, interesting. Okay, and she does a great job being that kind of like. It's funny how Cinta treats Vel, which is kind of harsh. Cinta's very harsh on Vel, like no love, no time for love, Dr. Jones kind of thing. Vel kind of does that to Mon. Because she has almost a similar conversation. It's almost like Cinta schools Vel on it. And then Vel turns around and basically kind of schools mom. It's like, you made no, we got to do this. You can't fuck around, pretty much. And it's a strong performance from her. As again, because Belle is a strong character in the sense of that you can tell she's scared shitless. She doesn't have this exterior like you're used to your hero having the I'm gonna kick your ass and she is scared shitless, but she's like still trying to be brave, and that's the important part. It's a powerful thing, very powerful.
Also, we didn't talk about the scene in Luthen's shop.
Yes. Oh yes.
When Luthen pretty much says Cassian's worth has run out.
Right.
Go get him.
Oh, it's scary. It's intense. It's a very intense sequence. By the way, I realized this. I don't know if Tony did this on purpose, but 2 characters have names that are very close to Leia. Or just Leia. We have Clea, and Mon Mothma's daughter is Leida, Leida.
Well, that one was already in a.
Was it already?
Book. Yeah.
Was that a Legends book? Okay, I couldn't remember that, or not. I wasn't sure about that. But very interesting. I'm like, both things like, wow, they're just like both characters are like basically 2 letters, a letter off from being Leia.
Yeah.
Maybe,
I mean, we are all fans of our general, so
yeah, that's true. Absolutely. You know, I could always see a tribute to her for sure. So, all right, those are our characters. Let's talk about our lines of dialogue. We jumped the gun a little bit with Smile, but some of our other favorite lines. Let's get the one out of the way. I'm gonna say this one first. I know it's on your list. I know it's on my list. It's on everyone's list.
Hit me.
Never more than 12.
Goddamn right, that's the best fucking line in this whole arc.
That is where Andy Serkis and Kino Lorre becomes the character that you know and love, that you get to. It's been bubbling underneath, but he's been all about. It's amazing how much he turns, or how much he grows in this 3-episode arc. And in the second episode, he's kind of flipped the switch a little bit, but it doesn't feel rushed at all. It feels completely earned, entirely earned. He is this badass leader of the crew, that he's all about the Imperial, what they're doing the Imperials, and Cassian starts getting to him. He starts realizing things. You can see his mind working. He's getting more and more like worried and upset. He's getting like, he's towards the end, right before this, he's getting like upset and like he's panicking. Stay on program. You don't know what's going on. Shut up. He's losing control.
Yeah.
And then he sees it, and he finally gets to the doctor. Ulaf passes, R.I.P. Ulaf. That's when he has it. He knows that he's confirmed all of his worst fears, and that's when he's pissed. And that's when he's flipped the switch. And after Cass has been asking him all episode, how many guards do they have? How many guards? We need to fight back. And he's like, no, we're not fighting back. He's there. He's hit it. Never more than 12.
Never more than 12. God, fucking the way he delivers it too, like stone-faced, staring forward. Never more than 12. Like he, like at this point is like he's in. He's like solely committed. Let's go. My other one was from Marva, where she says, "That's love."
Nothing you can do about that. That's just love. Nothing you can do about that. Yes, it's on my list as well. I was like 7 or 8, but those are my 3
like,
too.
Cassian's probably gone his whole life, like knowing that he's loved, right? These people care for him. But that Marva's like essentially saying, no, you're on your path now. There is nothing more I can do for you. Like you're on your journey now. Like,
in fact, like he's like, I can't live without you. I'm always be worried about you. And that's like parents are always be worried about their kids. That's life. That's love. That's what it is. Nothing's gonna ever be perfect. Going with you is not. You'll be worried about me whether I'm going through or not. That's what it's going to be. That's love. Can't change that. Go live your life. Powerful. Well done. Well done.
I know you can relate to that.
I absolutely can. 100% I can. And so it definitely hit me. I was 100% going to hit me. Couple more. Yeah, we already mentioned the other one, the politics being too strong for your taste. Great line. It's just nice.
Great line. Great
line.
When
she repeats it back, that's the best part too. Like, he says it. It's kind of a fun, like, okay. And then he's like, my politics. Oh, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? That kind of thing. Okay, cool. Good stuff there. 2 other ones 3 other ones I want to mention. Do you have any more you want to throw up there?
No, those were the main ones. Okay. The It's Love, Never More Than 12.
I'm gonna piss you off.
Those are my big two. Go on. Oh, don't give me a parent. No, don't. You did this last week. Don't give me a parent line, please.
Good luck feeding the galaxy. I'm off to feed myself.
Such a smug prick.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I hate it, but I love it. He's so good at what he does.
Next segment.
No, I got to get that one out of the way because there are two other ones I do want to mention real quick that I do like. I really do like.
Let me check see if I got any more.
Luthen. What were my words? He's talking about that the way he's kind of talking to like this is I sorry, Mon, you knew what's going on. What were my words? And he's like, she's scared to death, and he doesn't give a fuck. I mean, he does, but he doesn't. Like he does have caring. He's like he's not completely heartless, but the rebellion is far more important than any one person. I told you this was going to happen. You knew this was going to happen. You committed. This is what this looks like. Remember what I said. That, and finally, put it out there. I love every line that Partagaz says because of his delivery.
You got one of the greatest British stage actors of all time.
Yes, 100%. Thesis, please. Thank you all for the lively session. Watch your back.
God, yeah, I jumped the gun twice, didn't I? Watch your back.
Watch back for this one. Yep.
Shit.
Yep. Watch your back.
I've got it. I got to stick with it. It's so good.
Partagaz is legitimately underrated. I know I don't hear any people talking about him very much, but his performance, I think he's in season 2. I think I looked up that he's in season 2. I'm happy he is because he is phenomenal.
Yeah, you can't not have him there. He's got. So good. I think he's 100% gonna bite the dust when they go to bomb the ISB building.
I could be the one to go. Yeah, that would suck. I'd rather him. I'd rather him stay throughout. Put him in animated. Put him in live action somewhere else. I don't care.
Mosk gets promoted.
Thrawn's council. Mosk and Partagaz together. Oh my god. Partagaz wouldn't suffer him though. He's kind of a.
I would be calling my therapist immediately.
I love that. All right. That's it. All right, next category. Put that in your holocron and snoke it. Explore more lore. Bunch of things. I had a couple, but I'll let you hit me first.
I want to know more about kind of because they brought it up on the Tony Gilroy stream. What the hell was Melshi in for?
Great question. That's one thing. The funny thing, that's a news bit I totally forgot to even add to it, the Tony Gilroy stream. And there wasn't a whole lot that was, it was a little fluffy, a little like talking about season 1. And, great conversation. Wonderful conversation. I love hearing Tony Gilroy talk about it now.
He's really kissing up to the podcasters. Like, that's one thing I do have to say about that. He's getting a little too close. And I'm like, don't you dare lose that punk rock integrity, Tony.
I don't think you will. Yeah. I don't think you will. Not a lot of news, but it's a very good, fun conversation. So take a look at that. It's all over there. Moderated by Ash Cross and the Goat. Wonderful. She's phenomenal at what she at her job there. Nice appearances by everybody. They didn't want to talk about season 2. They mentioned a bunch of time. They didn't talk about season 2 hardly at all. Okay. It was all season 1. Good. But it's cool. It's not much news.
So when they had Duncan in there, they were like, "What do you think Melshi was in for?" And he said that he's very like anti-authority. He doesn't like being told what to do.
Right.
And it just made me think, what was Melshi in there for? And just the general like these prison planets.
Right.
How many are there? Because when you have I know this is in the next arc. When you zoom out, you see multiple prisons there.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have like multiple prison planets?
Right.
I mean, you have the Citadel, right, for the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Belsavis was the world. I mean, like they said, you're going to Narkina. That was the world you're going. Is Narkina the name of the prisoner or the name of the world?
It's Narkina 5, right? Yeah. So Narkina 5
is the world because even the aliens. There's a little peek at. I am jumping the gun a little bit just because it matters as far as
the
when you subtitle it, it says Narkinians. So they're people of that world. So the world must be Narkina 5. And if they went going to Belsavis, that was the other one that Andor was sent to. Like when he got his. You're on Narkina 5, go on that shuttle. Belsavis was the other one mentioned. That must be another prison planet. So I think so. I think you're right on that. So interesting point. One point I want to bring up, Clea. I want to know more about Clea. I want to know where she came from and what, because like I want to know Luthen. Absolutely want to know Luthen. That's kind of a later thing. We'll talk about that next week because I have a conversation that happened I wanted to touch base with you on for next week. But
okay.
Clea is so, she's not one dimensional, but she's so hard and so even more than Luthen. She's so direct. Where did she come from? What's her deal? What's her?
Where did she go? Where did she come from? Cotton Eye Joe.
Cotton Eye Joe. That's what. There's no. I love the character. I like the character. You don't get a lot of not a lot of sympathy from her, not a lot of empathy from her, not a lot behind it. But there's got to be some reason she got that way, and I'm kind of curious how she got to be where she is. How did she hook up with Luthen? What is their relationship? Is it just? Are they just like together? Are they together? Are they related? Are they just working together? Like there's something intriguing about what that is. But speaking of that, similarly, because of Vel's revelation to Mon, and then Vel kind of, like I said, being the Cinta to her, being like, you took an oath, you got to do this. I want to find out what came first, the chicken or the egg. Did Vel bring Mon in? Or did Mon bring Vel in? And who met Luthen first? And who brought who in first?
That's a good question.
Right?
I want to say it was Vel that met her first. And maybe Mon was because we still really know nothing about Luthen at this point.
No, nothing.
I would hazard a guess Mon is aware of him because she's obviously visited his shop multiple times.
Right.
But Vel maybe fell in with him and was like, hey.
Did Mon direct Vel with him as a buffer?
Maybe by mistake.
Right. Could be.
Took her into the shop one day and Luthen was like, I see potential in you.
Yeah. Right. 100%. Could be that. Because we know that does Mon and Luthen have a previous relationship before the rebellion? We know Mon signed the delegation in 2000. We know from Mask of Fear, canon-wise, that she was arrested and tortured at one point. Spoiler alert. There was earlier on. I'm only 50% of the way through Mask of Fear, so this is definitely earlier on in the book.
I'm getting that. I think I'm 70.
It's good. It's a fun book. Not fun. Fun's the wrong word, but
it's not fun. It's not a fun read,
but we know about that from Mon. So Mon, it's not like Luthen needed. It's not like Mon needed a kick in the pants from Luthen to join the rebellion. Mon was all in the rebellion, the rebellion side of things right away. But where did Luthen come in? Who? I guess that's the way too. I said did Vel bring Mon or did Mon bring Vel? And did Mon bring Luthen and Luthen bring Mon and did Luthen bring Saw? I want to know all about how these all began and who contacted who first and where things started. Because that's what's interesting to me at this point.
Yeah, I think we'll find out.
I think so. I hope so too. I hope so for sure. So, at this point, we have what we know. We have the partisans. We have the rebellion, Mon's rebellion, Luthen's sidebar, which may or may not be Mon's rebellion. We don't really necessarily know. We have Anton Krieger, his people. Little sparks of rebellion all over the place, which is kind of interesting. So I'm kind of curious. Part of the story is the bringing the rebellion together. Obviously, Mon's speech in Rebels is what brings everybody together, except for Saw's group or whatever. But it's kind of an interesting point to see who got where first.
I just thought of one.
Yeah.
The K2, I think that we're going to divulge away from how Andor meets K2.
Oh, that comic book story is not going to be the one.
I would love, and I would really, really love this, if the K2 droid that arrested Cassian ends up becoming K2. Yeah.
Somehow. I wondered about that. I thought that was debunked. I thought that was debunked or something, but maybe I'm wrong.
How cool would it be if their first ever interaction was K2 arresting Cassian?
Right. I'd love that. I'd do it great. they can make it work, and then like later on, it gets personality somehow. I mean, it'd be very interesting to say for sure.
Yeah, I just had that light bulb moment. I was like, that would be pretty sweet.
Actually, I said this because I heard about this. I remember they said they're bringing K2SO in, and almost everyone, including myself, was going, well, okay, the canon comic book that was released back in 2016 or 17, where it showed how Cass and K2 met, was probably going to be put by the wayside. And that was going to be the end of it, right? That's probably going to be the end of it. And I'm okay with that. I think that there's some people who got stuck on, well, Lucasfilm said that everything mattered and everything was canon. Yeah, she did. You know what? Fair play. Kathleen Kennedy did say that, and it's being proved wrong. And I just think the people sometimes overreact about it, but I think you got to get to the point where, like, okay, some things are going to be canon until they're not, and they can tweak things all the time. Oh, so we always talk about it, the campfire storytellers thing. There's different things going on. So, while I was like thinking in my head that that's definitely going to change, I almost wonder now if it doesn't change, because I wonder if they just don't bring up how they met. Maybe. Would I be surprised if Tony Gilroy is there? Because we're doing those 3-episode arc, 1 year, 3-episode arc. Is it going to be like the second arc where K2 just with Cassian? They just talk about how they.
That would be a really good way of Tony Gilroy being like, I ain't touching that.
Yeah. They just all of a sudden that happened during this year, the year off. We hit, now they're together. And because it won't take long. Give a quick thing of like, oh, we met on they could even like reference the comic like in a very broad, roundabout way. I think it was on the Star Destroyer, I think, or something. I forget exactly where. I can't remember the comic. I haven't read it.
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, pretty sure it was on.
So I on the, like, you say something off the cuff and they just don't have to then doesn't even worry about it. Could happen. If it's not, is it going to kill me? No, I'm not going to care. But it is it's a thought I had. So, yeah. Okay. Anything else for your put this in your holocron Snowpit? Are you good?
No, that's it. We nothing to category.
Moving on. Seen a lot of action. Our favorite action beats of this arc, and I got to be honest, there wasn't a whole lot of actual action in these 3 episodes.
Yeah, I think it kind of determines how we address action.
Term action.
Yeah, because in terms of like suspense, and there's like action in the sense of stuff starts to really boil to the surface now. And just that moment when they're all in, like everyone's waiting to go in, like there's some kind of log jam to get back into the room, and they all start looking out, like they're trying to do the hand signals and they're trying to work everything out. There's something that's like, I guess that's probably the most action that we got, other than Cassian being held up by the droid. But it's action in a sense of like anything could have happened in that moment.
The gravity bit maybe too, when they first learned about the gravity floor, that's kind of an action beat.
Yep.
Ish. But no, you're not wrong. Most of the ones I threw up there
the floor is lava, pretty much.
Floor is lava. Floor is lava. That's right. They're playing the floor is lava. Hell, never more than 12 felt like a punch in the face. So I mean, that kind of felt like an action beat to me. And I actually threw in there, and you're mildly varied. It might be a cheap cop out. I think the Mothma and Tay conversation was action. It was tense action, playing that scene back and forth. There was like
Mon wanted to punch Dallas Golden like square in the jaw for suggesting that their kids get married.
Exactly, it's good stuff. Actually, was it the Davo meeting in the? I think that was the 10th episode. I think.
Yes, you're right. I'm doing it again.
You're jumping ahead.
Yeah.
You're jumping ahead.
I'm jumping again. Yeah.
That's actually the 3. That's the actually. So you know what? The funny thing is, you brought that up earlier in the episode. I'm kind of like, I was thinking, I think that's the 10th episode. I'm not sure. Because I was talking about the Tay and Mothma scene as my favorite over in there. I was like, that scene's in there. Is that in this one arc 2? I didn't think so, but yes, I'm going to confirm it now. That's in the next. So that'll be a scene to talk about next time for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
But yes. Okay. I think that's it for that. Laugh it up, Fuzzball. Our favorite comic moments of the week. I had 2. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, good. Because I only had 1 because not much really made me laugh.
No, it's not very funny. Andor's not a very funny show. It has moments, but it's not very funny overall.
Cassian waking up in what I can only assume is the Star Wars version of Magaluf, which is like, for anyone that's ever been on holiday in Magaluf, it's like Ibiza, but like this really scummy version of Ibiza. Like if you can't really afford to go to Ibiza.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, and it was shot in this place, Clulies, which is a seaside town here in the UK that I have been to a couple of times. There is nothing there. It is a tiny little seaside coastal village town with absolutely nothing there other than the little post office, which is the building that you see in the shot in the actual episode. That building is a post office.
Okay. I called it. I was calling it Space Miami, but maybe that makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah. The idea of Cassian just waking up with some random chick. Those credits weren't going to be there when he got back.
Right.
He hid them above the shower. Do you think, like, if I'm looking for someone's money, if I'm about to rob someone in a hotel room,
right,
after spending the night there,
right,
you don't think I'm going to look above the shower?
Well, you know what though? You got ahead. You know they didn't.
I would love if in season 2 he goes back to that same room and the credits are still there.
Well, he did. Did he leave it there again? Because he does do that at the end of the arc. That last episode he did. The one I watched, he did go back and get it.
Did he go back and get the credits?
Yeah, he gives Melshi the. Well, he went. He found the box. He actually. We'll talk about that next week. I guess maybe you missed him. Maybe we should rewatch. He sneaks on. Some guy sleeping in the bed, and he actually grabs the credits and the gun.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, he does.
He gives Melshi the gun. I think from there.
Yeah, I completely blanked on that. Yeah, you're right. Okay, no, that's the thing. He gave Melshi the gun.
Right. He had Well, he opened the block. He opened the box. So he took the gun.
Well, the credits in the box.
It's implied. The credits were there. Yeah, because he started playing with the credits.
Okay.
I mean, so I'm implying he took them after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. For me, they were pretty funny though. It was still pretty funny. Him just in general waking up there and being called out by some lady of the night, as it were, or whoever he's with at that point. The lines of dialogue, they're two lines of dialogue. The funny thing is I should combine I speak with comedy because that's usually my favorite bits of comedy is usually more of the lines that are spoken. One was by B2 Emo. Can I speak now? No.
I didn't find that funny.
I found it hilarious.
You would. I was heartbroken that they spoke to him like that. That wasn't funny.
It was funny as hell. For B2 Emo, I admit it's sad, but it's still humorous.
He's a little sad.
The other one I'll say, I'm hoping you find this one more. You'll find this one more funny.
Go on.
I know you will. Line of dialogue from Vel when Perrin kind of talks shit to her. Perrin says something about like, "Well, you're not getting any younger. You're not getting married. You're not married yet. Oh my god, blah, 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 whatever it is." He says, and he goes, "Yeah, all the good ones were taken." Like pointed directly towards him.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was the I'm going to be very nice about this, so we can't acknowledge that I'm really fucking insulting you, but I'm fucking insulting you.
It's like it's in what's that phrase like? In like smart people insults, like just like insulting with intelligence.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Insulting. That's what it is. It's like it's too highbrow for him to even understand. He didn't get it. He's like, okay, whatever. But, so I did like that for sure. So, all right, let's rate this episode, and then we'll rank. Actually, let's rank anything notes you had in there about like anything else you want to talk about that didn't fit a category necessarily. Okay, I had a couple ones I did highlight. Fuel purity. I don't know what that is, but I love the fact that they come up with all these lines in Cyril. We didn't talk about Cyril at all. Cyril and Edie and everything else going on. Cyril getting a job. I love the fact that all of those jobs that Cyril gets talked to about they just sound like the most boring possible jobs you could ever have.
Like,
and the guys like acting like they're great jobs. Like doesn't get fuel. I have an opening at fuel purity. Wonderful, awesome, great.
Like, what even is fuel purity? Like, fuel comes out of the ground. Like,
I guess they mix it, whatever they mix it with. I don't know what's going on with it, but like, oh my God, that's your standard at this point. You're killing me. You are killing me.
It's like he falls so far.
So
that
far.
you almost root for the guy, but then
Mm.
you remember, oh no, you are a piece of shit.
It's fun. That's a fun moment though.
Mm.
Another line of dialogue I forgot to mention. This is actually what you brought up earlier about. It was the Clea and Vel conversation that they had at one point. She asked something about where Vel asked, "Where's so and so? Where's Cinta?" And Clea has his lines. She's doing what she was told. Like pointed out, like you're not. You're being a dumbass right now.
Yep.
Loved it. That was a great point of moment from Class. So good. A few other things really quick. I love the cells in Narkina. Like they don't like they just have the floors that are wide open cells, but they have like the door.
It's kind of like a hostel, really.
Yeah.
Because you go stay in a hostel and it's like everyone's in the same room.
Yeah.
And you're all in bunk beds.
I love the fact that they get unlimited food. Like it's such a like they don't. It's a good. They need us hungry. They need it. Well, yeah, but the unlimited nutrition that they need to. So they're not starving you. Like I mean, it's not good. It's not fun. You get flavor as the reward is to get flavor in your food. That's awesome. That's just like interesting ways because you always look at imperial prisons. They're starving. You know what I mean? It's that kind of like typical trope in this kind of situation. The harsh government is treating their prisoners poorly. And it's not like they treat them well, but it's an interesting twist. Like all the food you need because I need you to be able to work for me.
Slave labor.
Yeah, absolutely. Did not talk about Dr. Gorst and the torture of Bix at all. Wow, that was holy shit.
They were for sure playing Creed in those headphones. It's the only thing that could make me have that visceral of a reaction if you put headphones on my head is if it's Creed.
Oh my God, there's far worse bands you could choose. That would make
Creed?
Worse. Yeah. I don't love Creed. I don't even like Creed, but Creed to me, like we had this conversation before. Creed and Nickelback to me are both just
who's
like
worse than Creed that you could put like on repeat. I'm talking Guantanamo Bay style. Like they put Marilyn Manson on repeat in Guantanamo Bay.
I'm trying to think who else would be worse. Like, well, I don't know if I can tell.
They put Crazy Frog on repeat.
Creed and Nickelback are both to me. They're just so bland.
Yeah.
Like it's not like bad torture. It's just bland. It's just bland corporate rock.
Nails on a fucking chalkboard to me.
See, I couldn't. Like to me, I'm kind of like whatever. It's background noise. Like I'm like whatever. It doesn't like bother me. Like I don't care about it enough. Like to.
But I'm sure like some of the bands that I listen to actually do sound like nails on a chalkboard.
No, I wasn't going to say that. It was you saying that. I'm kidding. Probably something more like I don't know, like something I really don't like some kind of country song with a twangy voice or something. That would be more torturous.
Like the song from the Andor 2 trailer.
No, that was for you. That wasn't too bad. I'm talking like old school country twang. Like,
okay. Compromise.
Okay.
Because I kind of like some old school country.
Okay.
This new like boyfriend country that we're seeing now.
Not a big fan.
Guys like actually I like Zach Bryan, so like I take him out of it, but like Morgan Wallen and like that kind of like new boyfriend country, like it's just so shit.
The twangier the voice, the worse it is for me. Yep. That's what I gotta say. That's what I can't handle. It's a twangy voice. So, but going back to I love Dr. Gorst. I love the fact that we don't hear it because the description of it is so terrible that like actually hearing it would probably be like that's not. I could. Your mind is always going. It's the Jaws thing. Your mind is always going to make it worse than what it actually is. So give us that. Like that's it's a proper, smart way to do the monsters. Smart way to do this. No way to torture sequence. I like how they said it, and I like how they left it, and just seeing her acting and seeing the music around it, that was perfect. And also, by the way, love the nod to episode 4, as like the door closes when she's being tortured, and they kind of
and then they go around,
to the floor or whatever as they walk through it. Just episode 4 shot, you could tell that was exactly what that meant. That was supposed to be. And it made me smile.
It's pretty much shot for shot. Now I'm like watching it back in my mind. It's pretty much shot for shot.
It is. It is exactly what it is. It's a shot for shot thing, and I love it. I love it. It's a great quote.
Not a Star Wars fan.
Great quote. It's a great quote. As it were. It might have been the director. It might not have been Tony. It might have been the director. You never know. Who was? But
I still think Tony's. I'm not a Star Wars fan. It's sus.
One last thing I'll throw out there before we rate it. There was this great shot. What episode? I wrote these notes down. I think it was in the third episode. Yeah. Vel leaves, and Mon Mothma gets. There's a shot of Mon Mothma, and it's like from far away, and it's like this. As she's leaving, there's this music playing, and she's so small in the shot, and it makes it feel claustrophobic, and it makes it feel like the world is coming down on her. It makes it feel like
it's closing in.
Closing in is powerful in there, and it's such a great shot. I love that. It's one of my favorite bits of the entire.
Because she's trying to find out how to hide this money.
100%.
As soon as she hears that Slime More's coming to that party, she knows.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's rate these and get out of here. So on a scale of 1 to 11, because we always turn things up to 11 here on PLD Projects, what do you rate episode 7?
I would give 7 an 8.5.
8.5. Okay, I gave it a solid 8. All right, episode 8.
It's a nice little like resetting of the chess pieces. Like we've had the one game, now the next one starts.
I almost put a 7.5 because of that, because it's kind of like that kind of pause. I mean, it's not a filler episode by any sense of the imagination, because we don't use that word in there. We hate that word. No, enhancement episode, because all that stuff happens. We need to get there. We need this piece to get to the prison arc and everything else. But it is definitely a kind of a pause. Like just says, let's move the chess pieces around. Let's move the whatever. But yeah, I still give it an 8. It's solid, really solid. What about episode 8?
I would give episode 8. I think I'd give it 9.
9? Give it an 8.5. So we're both in the same range. Looks like you're about a 0.5 higher than me every time, seems like so far. How would episode 10 done? Or episode 9, rather, I should say.
Right. Oh, this is tough. Solely based on the very last line.
Never more than 11.
10.5. If we ever add a category of fist pump moments,
boom, that was it.
That is a fucking hell of a fist pump moment.
Absolutely, 100%. I'm right there with you. I gave it a 10. So we were actually exactly 0.5 below you every time. But no, same thing. It's on the strength of the end. But it is the whole episode. Is the whole way going through and all the stuff going on with that, especially with the conversations going on. We have the torture sequence. We have Vel's thing. We got a lot of good stuff there. So I actually might go back because of the Tay and Mon scene. I gotta stop watching ahead because all of it's starting to blur in. Yeah, that's what it is for me as well. So I'm gonna bring that back and say maybe for Tay and Mon, I might bump that up to where you were, say 8.5 for that episode as well, because that was so good. But yeah, that's going to do it for us this week, folks. We're going to be back next week to finish up Andor Season 1 rewatch as we get ready for Season 2 coming up. Matty, where can folks find you?
You can find me on all socials at Matty Mourner, my band Mourner, Mourner on all streaming platforms. So we're doing the last 4 next week.
Last 3.
I can't even bloody count. What is with me today? Yeah.
You can find me every week. It was like what a 4th one? Okay.
Hey, you had that at the start of this, so
yeah, it's true.
I'm having it now.
That's very true. Math is hard. All right. You can find me at Paul _ News on the old Blue Sky. That's where I am. You can find me all over this channel. Review Star Wars, Holy Snokes Star Wars show I do every week. Review show about V. I do with Lego. I do that every other week. 2 middle-aged geeks on a film. We do every other week with me and PJ talking about franchises. Right now, we are starting the Superman franchise. Superman 1978. We just covered that. What a great film that was. Go check out our loving all over that film in this one. Join the patreon.com/PLD Projects.
May also be coming up in a few months on another show.
It could be. Absolutely. Patreon.com/PLD Projects as well. join us for that. You can see two middle-aged geeks on film doing the MCU rewatch. We have Iron Man out there and Incredible Hulk coming next week. Although some of you cheeky bastards have already seen it because I tried uploading a video and it was it's all bullshit. You saw it. I saw you see it. You had 5 views on it already before I caught it. That's all right. It was a good episode, so it can't hurt you. Patreon.com, you can join those. They'll be on the channel at the end of the year, probably, when I'll start actually releasing the MCU rewatch, probably in December or so. So if you want to get it before then, join the Patreon. If you can't, I totally get it. Got a great crew up there. I got Austin Goodell, Brandon Buckingham, great crew. But if you can't, I totally get it. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. I'm supposed to mention at the top of the show. I never do because I'm bad at my job. But you could leave comments, help us fight that evil algorithm. And yeah, we love it here. We love it here. I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. Next week, Andor season 1 commences and finishes, and then we're going to go into celebration mode. And then Andor season 2. I'm going to follow Andor season 2 with Rogue One. I think that's what we're going to do. Go right into Rogue One. We'll do a rewatch of Rogue One at that point. Why not? It feels fitting at this point. So that's then. This is now. And until then, take care, everybody.
May the Force be with you. Always.